Hello, Una from Oz here. Thanks for joining me in the studio today. What's all this stuff, you ask? Well, I am going to make a purple themed journal. It's going to be small and chunky, but I'm going to use a cocoa powder box as the base. So this is just a bog standard shopping cocoa powder box. It's made of reasonably sort of card, and I cut it down. I opened it up and cut it down to this. So this is going to be the basis of my journal. Because it's going to be fat and chunky, which I quite like the idea of, I'm going to put 3 signatures in. I will hand stitch them in. Sometimes I do it with the sewing machine, but I think I'll hand stitch this one. So just out of interest, we'll measure it. So this is about 4 1/4 by just a shade under 6 inches, and the spine itself is just looks like 2 1/4 or just below 2 1/4. So it's going to be short and chunky. After much deliberation, I decided I'm going to do a cloth cover. I will use calico as a base, so I will cut 2 rectangles because I'm going to do the inside with fabric as well. I'm going to cut 2 rectangles about 1 inch larger all round, and then I'm going to use my purple fabric bits of lace and ribbon and all the things I've collected to stitch on the cover. I really like this beautiful, it's in a soft lilac and it's got a gold thread through it. I think it really is quite beautiful, so I might use that as the feature. I think this one, giving such a beautiful contrast, I'm going to use as the big fluffy bow tie to close it. It's a sari silk. It's quite wide. I'm actually going to stitch it in right around to help strengthen. I've got this beautiful canvasy type fibres with edge. I absolutely love this one. I really do. Similar, but this one is a lot finer. It does have a fringed edge, but it is a lot finer, so I really like that. So you could use that as a you could flatten it out and sew it down, or you can use it as a tie thing. I've got some mixed fibres and lace here. Of course, I've got different lace. I don't have a lot of I do have a few bits of dark lace I'll have to rummage out. I've also found some handmade purple ephemera. I probably made this 10 years ago, but I think I can include that. This is more recent. I've got some lovely bits of ephemera that I've made that I can include. This one is not super purple, but I think I can zhuzh it up with some more stickers and a bit of colour. So I'm getting a collection together. I've actually got a box that I've put everything. So I've got tissue paper, I've got printed paper, I've got scrapbooking paper. So I'm going to work on the cover today and put it together. You won't see the whole process because it will probably take hours, but I will show you bits and pieces of it as I go. In the next video, I will be looking at doing the signatures. I will have 3, so I will show you all the papers that I have chosen, and we'll go from there and put it together. So come along with me and see what we can create today. So this is how I'm going to cut out my fabric, which is going to be my cover and my inside. So I've got this piece of calico. I got it super cheap from the thrift shop or op shop, and I've just used my square edge ruler to get it straight because I'm really good at getting it wonky, and using the salvaged edge or the sealed edge to mark the straight line. You can see I've just marked it out. So it's about 3/4 of an inch or a centimetre or so bigger than the box itself. I'm going to use, after I decorate this, I'm going to use a double-sided sticky sheet to actually stick it down together, but I will reinforce the spine. I've folded it in half because I need 2 pieces, so now all I have to do is cut it out. And hopefully it won't move because I'm a terror for not pinning things down. I find Calico is a really good option for a background, especially if you are going to cover it all. I probably didn't have enough purple fabric to actually make a front and back cover out of purple, but I like Calico because it's such a neutral colour. It's usually robust and it's not too thick to sew. You could use any fabric you like, especially if you were doing a colour themed. You could have a patterned or decorated fabric ready to go, but I'm probably going to cover all of mine, do maybe a patchworky type of embellishments. So there's my front and back, and I'm going to sandwich my cover in between. The reason I have left a little bit of room either side, it is going to be shabby chic. Once I sew it down, and I'll be sewing just outside the cardboard, so I will decorate it, I will adhere it down with the sticky sheet, then I will sew around the edge, and I will put my ribbon, my sari silk ribbon right through the centre for stability, and then I will sew it together, and then I will trim it with the zigzag pinking shears to give it that frayed shabby chic look. So I will now go and start laying out my embellishments and my fabrics to make my patchwork. Now I've sewn in the ribbon tie, the sari silk ribbon tie, and I've put my first 3 pieces down. Sometimes I do it, I pin them all down and then I stitch them all at once, but because I want to use these fringed edge pieces, I actually want to leave the fringe sticking out, so I will go down here. Yes, it's not perfectly square or straight, but I don't really care because it is a shabby chic. So whether I fill it up with all these coloured pieces, I don't know. I've also got a slightly thinner one, which I thought might be useful somewhere. Maybe I'll put it on the edge. I'll see what I can find. I do have a wider one, and I've also found a piece of fabric, but I have a little bit of this lace as well, so I might even incorporate some of this. So this is my steps so far. I have used a goldy coloured thread because I really like the contrast in the colour. I tend to use a browny or a goldy coloured thread. I find black is really hard, and to be honest, I don't think I actually have any purple thread. Purple is not a colour I work in, particularly in fabric, a lot, so I probably haven't even got any purple thread. Anyway, I'll continue on and I'll finish putting the pieces on the front cover. The inside cover I'm actually going to do similar, but I'm going to incorporate a pocket. Now, pocket front and back. Now, if you were not a sewer and you wanted to do this, you could very easily do this with a good quality glue. You would probably have to glue, then pin, and possibly weigh down with a book until it held. But you could easily do this with a glue, or even double-sided sticky back paper, but it may take a little bit longer. Anyway, I will continue on and I'll show you the cover when I'm finished. So here I finished sewing on all my embellishments. Just to make my life difficult, I decided to put on a little bit of shiny ribbon here, a bit of satin ribbon here, and a bit of lace here. Now it is only straight sewing, so I changed the stitch from a zigzag to a straight stitch to fill these ones. You can see I don't mind all the strings and everything hanging out. Whether I keep them or not, I will decide that after I've put the cover together. I did make a huge faux pas and caught this because it was tucked underneath while I was sewing, but luckily it was only a centimetre or 2, and I managed to work it out and just snip the stitch, pull it out and release the thing. So yeah, I had to be a bit more careful with that. So here's my cover. As you can see, it's a little bit larger than my card, which will give me a little bit of room when I stitch it on. So whether I put some more embellishments on, I don't know. I will have to think whether I want. This is my spine, this is my front, and this is the back. So it'll go like this. So whether I want to put, the spine will be taken up with this. So whether I want to put some more embellishments down here, I may even hand sew them on, and that can even be done at a later date, or I might glue them on. I was thinking of maybe some flowers, but I'm actually really happy with how it looks at the moment. So the front is done, and I did manage to stitch this on. I opened it up with my fingers and just went very steadily and stitched it on. So I will now have a lunch break because I need some food, and I will come back after lunch and I will work on the inside cover. The sari silk gets everywhere. I will try and find some fabric to cover it. I don't know if I can cover it in one piece of fabric. I even may just glue it. I do have some other little bits of fabric about that I will have a look for. And I also wanted to put a pocket. I was thinking of this wider style canvas, if I can get the sticky tape off it. It's got sticky tape holding it together. So this is let's see if I can get it off to show you. So it looks like a big bandage, but it's actually a thin sort of a canvas, and I was thinking maybe if I ran that across there and stitched it, I could have a pocket. It is a little thin. It's not as thick as I expected, so whether I could use that as a pocket, I don't know. It may be a little thin. Another option for the inside would be just to stitch pieces down and maybe some of these in between. So 3 pieces and a strip of that in between. I do have a little bit of this fabric. So whether I want to put a little bit of this fabric or even fold it in half, actually that could make the pocket because it's folded in half. It's obviously been pressed well. Is that the same size? That one? Yeah, I might even use that as the pocket because then it's a bit more firm than this one. So I might use that as the backing, and I'll see what else I can find in my stash. So I'll go and have some lunch and I'll be back to finish. Hello again. I've had my lunch and I came back and I did that about for ages, and I thought, oh my god, just get on with it, Una. So I did. So I decided to do 3 panels with this. It's more like a gauze, make a damn good bandage, in the purple, and then I added some of the fringing and I made 2 little pockets out of that fabric I have. They're floppy pockets, but they will be adhered down. So this now is the inside. So I've got the front, get it around the right way. I've got the front, which goes like this. I'm going to use a double-side adhesive paper to put it down like that, and then I'm going to put that one on top, and then I'm going to sew around the edge to put it all together. I really only get one shot at sticking it down. I hopefully won't mess it up, so I'll get the sticky paper and I'll go and put it together. So here's the finished journal cover. I think it turned out quite right. I took care and went very slowly. I zigzagged right around the edge to encapsulate everything, and then I used my zigzag pinking shears to cut off any excess. There's a little bit more here. I think I definitely have achieved the shabby chic look. I'm actually really happy with the cover. I don't think I will do any more to it as it is. This ribbon's sticking out a little bit. I was thinking I might even glue that down. I noticed on the inside though, I did have a miss where I missed capturing when I sewed. I could actually sew that down, but I think it'll ruin the look. So what I might do is just put a little bit of glue under there and glue it down, and put a book and sit it overnight to hold it down. So there's my cover done. It's got the glitzy bit, it's got the embroidered pieces, you can see a little bit of the calico. I don't mind that rustic look, and I think my ties have worked really well, so that's just going to go in a big bow. Of course that'll be, it won't be as tight as that once I put the signatures in. Anyway, I think that actually worked. I'm really happy with it. The pockets worked. I think I'm happy with the fabrics. I had enough trim and fabrics to do that. I've got some friends coming to make similar, so this is my test run to see what I can do. So next video we're going to go through and look at what we're going to put in the signatures, and we're gonna I don't necessarily know if I'll get them stitched in, because I might do some decorating before I stitch them in, because that tends to make life a little bit easier. Anyway, thanks for joining me today. I hope you learnt something, and I hope you have a go at doing journal with a cover. I must admit I do like using the double-sided sticky paper. It's really simple. You just measure it out, peel it off and stick it down. To me that makes life a whole lot easier, and it holds the fabric in place when you go to sew. Okay, I hope you join me next time where we'll work on the signatures. Bye for now.